Committee will come to order. Good afternoon. I'm Chairman of the Asia and Pacific Subcommittee, and I'd like to yield my time at this time to the Chairman of the full committee, Ed Royce of California.
I thank the gentleman for yielding, and I want to welcome our witnesses. I think my good friend Steve Shabbat has done a lot of work over the years, and holding this important and timely hearing is part of that effort to make certain that we see some justice done for people who have been through things which are unimaginable for us here. I want to take the opportunity to welcome Ms. Minnie Zhou to the Foreign Affairs Committee and to thank her for bravely sharing her story. And I want to also share, as Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, that it's my commitment to all the people who continue to suffer in North Korea that this committee will do all it can to hold Kim Jong-un and his generals accountable for crimes against humanity. Today, I'm announcing that the committee plans to consider bipartisan sanctions legislation against North Korea, which I authored, in May of this year. My legislation targets the regime where it is most vulnerable, in the pocketbook, and it will prevent Kim Jong-un from assessing or accessing, having the ability to use that hard currency that he needs in order to pay his generals. H.R. 1771 now has over 130 co-sponsors, and it will go a long way towards bankrupting the regime in North Korea. It is important that we wake up to the reality that North Korea is not interested in reform. Frankly, that's not, denuclearization does not drive their calculus. And thus, I urge the administration to work with this committee so that the people of North Korea can finally have an opportunity to live without fear, to have an existence without abuse. And I've long been involved in shining the spotlight on the horrific human rights abuses in North Korea. I've had many, many trips to that part of the world and spoken with so many defectors about their particular circumstances. I've had people show me the scars on their bodies from when they were tortured in North Korea. I co-chair the International Parliamentarians Coalition for North Korean Refugees and Human Rights. And I can say that the Committee of Inquiry report on North Korea offers one of the most comprehensive accountings of human rights abuses in that country. Despite the international community's focus on North Korea's weapons program over the past 20 years, too little attention is paid to the question of human rights, the lack of human rights in the country. And this report has finally changed the way the world views North Korea, and I'm hopeful that with this new awareness, action is not far behind. Last month, I led a bipartisan delegation to Seoul. I've been there many times, but this is the second time in some 12 months, in order to reaffirm our nation's special alliance with South Korea. In my meetings with President Park, she has always stressed the importance of fighting, struggling for human rights for the people of North Korea. She said it last year, and she said it again this year to us. As a longtime friend of the Korean people, I know that this issue is very important to South Koreans and Korean Americans alike. And that's why I'm committed to passing this legislation into law, and also because I've looked into the eyes of those who have survived in North Korea, and I want to make certain that that type of horrific thing does not continue to occur. Fighting for human rights is one of the most important tasks that we have as a nation and that we have here as members of this committee. When we see grave abuses occurring, it is our duty to stand up and take action. Chairman Shabbat, thank you for your leadership on this issue, and I look forward to hearing the testimonies of this distinguished panel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.